let's get this over with. Hello, I'm the GAZ-man, the wrongest football YouTuber in the world, so it seems, according to these predictions, but you'll find out soon enough. Let's just get cracking into this before the hangover gets too much worse. Isn't that right, Collingwood? You probably feel similar feelings right about now. So, let's get into it.
18th, West Coast.
Welcome to the AFL equivalent of that Ocean Gate submarine. Well, that wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been either. The rebuild doesn't really look strong at the moment, and the Barras situation really makes things look a hell of a lot worse heading into 2025. Better than I expected, but was it really? Harley Reid has been impressive considering the media think he won the 2024 Rising Star 2 months before he was even drafted, but even if he turns into Buckley plus Jez Cameron, he won't lift this lifeless, inexperienced, uninspired squad past 3 wins. Yeah, that aged well. Damn it. I'm still going to stand by the whole won't lift past 3 wins thing, because he played well, did Harley Reid, but he wasn't really as good as I was led to believe by the Victorian media, who still think that he's on his way to Melbourne right now. Plus, they've lost the best player of the last 13 years by my vault numbers, even if it feels like he hasn't played a game in about a century. And yeah, look at what happened to the ruck stocks of the West Coast Eagles as Natanui has left. What did I tell you?
17th, North Melbourne.
Yes, I picked you 17th, which traditionally, according to these predictions, means you get within a goal of a grand final, so congratulations, Kangas fans. Yes, get in, exactly right. They've got a great selection of young phenoms. Despite the young guns they've got coming through, this is still somehow one of the most insipid sides I've had the displeasure of watching. Blue-chipped established players in the twin Lukes, and Nick Larkey doing his best impression of a full forward from the 1980s. LDU did well, as did Harry Sheasel, of course, but man, Larkey really fell away in terms of scoring opportunities and chances compared to last year, didn't he? I mean, he was still as accurate, but where did he go? Man, that increased supply that I thought he'd get as North Melbourne lifted just didn't come at all. God, that team's a basket case at the moment. 2025 shaping is a really big year for that squad. They need to lift, and they need to lift now.
16th, Essendon.
Oops. Although, let's face it, the Bombers did get lucky. A few close wins against teams that underestimated them, flattered them, as did the ridiculously tight nature of that midfield. And I don't think it gets that much better this year. Dersma is the type of player that can only help a team if he's given supply, and I don't think a 56-year-old Todd Goldstein is the guy that's going to spark that midfield. They got found out, eventually, with Goldstein really not impressing me much and Dersma just falling off the radar entirely, but this could have been so bad. I'm relieved I only get a -5 for this.
15th, Richmond.
But I get the feeling their spell down there is going to be brief. A brief rebuild? This is a team that, besides a bizarre Sydney game and a typical Adelaide performance, couldn't do anything right. I don't know what Adam Uze's brought into the team, but it's not good, I'll tell you that. Losing Cochin and Rewalt, though, is huge for on-field leadership, or, the lack of it. And Soldo is a big presence lost as well, this time in a more physical sense. Yeah, they really missed that presence in the midfield, and Nankervis just didn't cover for the loss of Soldo. Their youngsters like Ryan Trezzy, whatever his name is, and Ralph Smith look promising, but are still very raw. Those youngsters, oh boy, they were hardly sighted, at least the ones that I mentioned, and with rumours of a player exodus, which have been confirmed since I actually wrote that bit of the script, next year's going to be really brutal. Can't like this hangover, good God.
14th, Fremantle.
I mean, is it a defensive juggernaut that makes fun finals crusades unexpectedly, or is it a juddering mess that can barely even kick its own ass? Honestly, I don't think I'm too far off the ball here. They did make a fun finals crusade, but kicked their own ass before it could really begin. Too many preventable losses marred the season, but this is the second least experienced side in the entire league. Longmuir's got a lot of upside to work with here. The team have just got to realise who they are and go out and do something positive. I'll back them for top 8 next season, for sure. This year, well, that fall away kinda saved me in the end.
13th, the Gold Coast Clown Show.
Bang. Exactly right. But it's the Gold Coast, so who really cares? A hot start did worry me, but the Suns, unlike the Dockers, actually remembered who they were, a team that can only win up north. Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson will again have amazing years that make us wonder how good they'd be if they were in a real football team. Anderson was again superb, and who saw the rise of Ben King coming? But in the end, poor form away from home means that, yet again, 14 years in, the Suns haven't made a single final and really need to gear up in the off-season to prevent that ticking over to 15 after losing the Koshis. And can I just say, anyone that gets paid to know about footy that had these clowns making the 8, well, you're an idiot. Hello, idiots. It's a bit harsh. Never getting a job at the AFL now, am I?
12th, Western Bulldogs.
I feel like I was almost bang on until about 6 weeks from the end when the Bulldogs suddenly remembered how to play explosive, consistent football. Ugle-Hagan will improve up front, yeah. Ugle-Hagan had his breakout season with Sam Darcy also looking a future star. The Bond did Bond things, as well as getting robbed in the Brownlow, which really is his trademark at this point, isn't it? But unless those deficiencies at both ends of the ground are sorted out, the Dogs go limp, and Beveridge, well, he probably loses his job. And Dale really held down his post well to fix the Dogs' woes down back. Well, I've seen people hype this side up for finals, but honestly, I really can't see it. They shocked me, and most others, finishing at the very top of where the 25 people in my predictions contest expected them to finish. Congratulations to Pemby09 and no one else.
11th, Hawthorn.
It seems like folks have forgotten that this outfit got 7 wins last year despite being accused of tanking for most of the first half of 2023. You see, I didn't forget. I'm so proud of this one, but I'm also annoyed. Who would have thought I would have been undone by not having enough ambition on the Hawks? I was right in theory though. If they didn't pull a 2023 Adelaide against the pair, they come second, although I do agree with the consensus that that was the loss they needed to have. The Hawks have got some brilliant young players who are hitting the point of maturity in Day, Newcombe, Sarong, Hardwick and Bramble, and Shoal, Ginnivan and Gunston into a forward line that's already pretty hard to cover. Their young mids are dynamite, and Gunston and Ginny were very good indeed. And of course you have the evergreen James Sicily, and Dylan Moore had a brilliant season, and Jai Newcombe was there as well. They've just got a whole lot of upside still. Next year, they'll prove that this wasn't a flash in the pan. They're going to go deep into September. Well, maybe not deep, but they'll make it again.
10th, GWS Giants.
Man, was I really harsh on the Giants, and that came back to bite me in the ass. Hogan and Daniels built on great ends to 2023 to become stars of the comp, while Whitfield had his best ever year. Buckley and Idan both had brilliant seasons last year and are incidentally super nice guys, but I'm not sure if they can back up their level of consistency in 2024. You know what? Buckley and Idan, they did back up their production. They fell off slightly, but I mean, they were never going to repeat the brilliant seasons they had. Briggs in the ruck is a revelation, but second year blues will probably kick in. I mean, yeah. Called it. Sorry, Kieran. Nice bloke, though. GWS will have great moments this year, there will be no question, but it won't be consistently enough to hang around at the top. They were 2 finals collapses away from making me look like a total idiot. Fortunately, there were other clubs that did that quite easily without their help. So instead, GWS kind of nailed the nail in the nail in terms of that whole consistency angle. Next year, though, they will be very, very dangerous, assuming that they can get some halfbacks to replace the entire halfback line that's left. But, oh dear.
9th, St Kilda.
They're at their lowest amount of jacks on their list in about a decade, which could really hurt St Kilda. Serious analysis only on this channel. Maybe the whole jack theory is a thing. Their only All-Australian nomination was Jack Sinclair. Their only 2 top 50 vault players were Jacks, and now they're after McRae? I gotta say, the evidence that St Kilda would sort of collapse was right in front of me, and I didn't act on it, and I can't believe I had this rabble above these guys. Boy. My big faith, especially compared to others, in the Saints looks like it'll cost me in this predictions challenge. I mean, Henry's a decent get, but he doesn't fundamentally change that lineup, whilst the engine room is basically performing at capacity. I'm gonna say I was right about Henry, one of the biggest vault improvers of the year, but still almost completely anonymous. Really weird season. The Saints as a whole though, well, their offense was just anemic, which made life hard for that defense, which didn't do as much as it did last year, but it was never going to, really. And although Rowan Marshall did have a great season, the rest of his mids failed to stand up as a whole. This is a weird team, but also it's very, very bland and mediocre at the same time. I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of sad. I don't see the Lion experiment lasting too much longer at this rate.
8th, Port Adelaide.
Mitch Georgiadis has just fallen off the face of the planet. Their hopes may well rest with Marshall up front. Yeah, I forgot about MG's injury. Glad he's back. He and Marshall make a great job up front. They're good to watch, even though they're wearing the wrong colours. But the Power were far from convincing, with an equal chance for 2nd or 8th until about 2 weeks from the finish. Charlie Dixon looks like a sock that's been in a washing machine for 6 months. Finlayson, while good, is a terrible shot for goal, and Dixon's finally given the game up about 2 years late, which is odd because he's about 31, and Finlayson's worst shooting was a shot he fired directly into his own foot. And I kind of hope this is the bad season they have to have in order to finally offload old Deathless over here. And thanks to that September run, Deathless gets to stick around for a while yet, giving a solid B- effort and failing to do anything that's actually that useful. Enjoy that, Port fans, because I don't think you're making it as far next year. Great midfield though. Jesus, that midfield.
7th, Geelong.
Gee, talk about your hard teams to pick. I thought I finally had these guys right at about the halfway mark, and then they did a 2022 and kept winning, landing a Max Holmes hamstring away from probably a premiership. I doubt Tomahawk has another 50-goal season in him at this age, but Cameron should stay fit long enough to compensate. But I was right about Hawkins, and indeed Cameron. But I'm keen to see how Geelong's barrage of middle-aged recruits go in the AFL's equivalent of a nursing home. With guys like Holmes, Dempsey and Henry having great years, I think the Cats are still in for a good few years to come. Will they ever revert to the mean? Or will they ever be in any way predictable? Next year's going to be interesting.
6th, Carlton.
I'm willing to bet another bottle of milk that this goddamn big goofy man and his fraudulent sidekick don't claim the Coleman. Again? Right in the wheelhouse, except that Charlie led the Coleman for most of the year. Thank you, Jesse, for ensuring I don't have to crack open another of the dairy industry's finest. And what did I say about Cripps? The midfield again looks solid, with DeConing ready for a huge year in ruck and Cripps surely ready to bounce back from a pretty average season by his standards. Well, he did that. Not to the extent he should have got 45 fucking votes for it, but whatever. Injuries really haven't helped, but this side is pretty average right now. I think I've pegged this one way better than the AFL Journos, one of very few clubs I can actually say that about. I don't know where this club goes next year. I don't know if they go up or down, or if they keep Matty Owies on an 800k salary, which is a bit of bullshit, by the way. But yeah. What is this team? Are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. I have to find out.
5th, Sydney.
Grundy, Hamling, Adams. Holy hell. Add on James Jordan, who's pretty handy in himself, and the Swans have added .702 wins above replacement into their lineup. Yeah, after how unconvincing they were at times in 2023, I didn't think I'd be done in by not being enough in favour of the Swans, even if the 3 players I picked out didn't really set the world on fire. This team will be absolutely incredible until they get decimated by injuries probably, but if they stay healthy, this could be the most exciting team to watch in the league. They did fall off a bit, even if I was correct in that A, they were hit by that injury wave that gets them every year, and B, man, they were great to watch, especially that rebounding game off the halfback flanks. Oh my god, Nick Blakey. What a player, even if he can't actually defend. Well, they were great to watch until Grand Final day at the very least, and geez, Longmire really is that Hinkley of Grand Finals, isn't he?
4th, Adelaide.
You're gonna break my goddamn heart again, aren't you? This is a risk. Oh, for fuck's sake. A terrible start combined with again failing to win the close ones, including Collingwood again, was caused by the forward line and midfield just not being on the same page for the first, 8-9 weeks. And somehow, despite some brave performances, they just kept falling down those stairs. When I said the Crows were on for top 4, I was right, in that we got a top 4 draft pick. Bert Keane and Worrell really impressed me last year with young Daniel Curtin hoping to pull a Daniel Talia, that is, win a rising star from centre-half back. Again, Keno and Woz did well, but Curtin only played a handful of times. Still eligible for 2025 though, so he really can achieve the genuine Talia experience and win the Rising Star in second year. Hopefully. But my attention is here, the forward line, the ageless Taylor Walker. Not anymore. The beautiful goal kicking of the Fog. He actually kind of fell off a little bit. And the big beanpole in Yeah, beanpole, not anymore. Reckon he did himself in just so he could negate that comment and get massive in the gym. Add Pedlar, Saligo, Dawson and Murphy rotating through that forward line, and there's a unit ready to repeat as top scorers in the league. Yeah, they all sucked in front of goal. They're already at that level. All they need to do is realise it. The real question is, can they? No. This is so utterly depressing. At least I still have Ned McHenry. And what do you mean he got delisted? Actually, no. I can't really carry on with this bit. He was my favourite player, but that does kind of make sense that he got the arse. R.I.P. McHenry. Loved your effort, mate. I couldn't have done him fucking Murphy instead.
3rd, Collingwood.
But I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that the Pies will not repeat as champions. Lockie Schultz is a good addition, and I'm getting real Pat Lipinski vibes from him. Out on a limb? Schultz a great addition? Oh boy, was I and basically everyone else wrong about the Pies. But if a team with a tall forward unit of Frampton, Cox, Myercheck and Ash Johnson go back-to-back, I will have a pie thrown at my face. That lineup of talls was abysmal, with their top scorers being Bobby Hill, then Schultz, who the fans all hated and had the worst first half of a season I've seen a Collingwood recruit ever have, then Elliott, then Nick Dacos, with Myercheck missing half the season and still leading the Pies talls with 19. This was a complete disaster, and amazingly, no one really saw it coming. Well, a couple of people did, but they were largely ignored because you don't speak the bad gospel about Collingwood. No one in the entire predictions challenges had them below 5th. You should have, in hindsight. This team is just another 1998 Adelaide. Yes, I said it.
2nd, Melbourne.
Yeah, this really doesn't feel right, especially after the pre-season they've had, with more drugs being passed around than a night at Amy Winehouse's. Oh man, the signs were there. I just ignored them. But the D's have secured some big ins, with Billings, Fullerton and McAdam likely to feature a lot this year in a team that has already considerable strength on each line. McAdam played about half as much as Andy Moni's fucking Wakefield. Billings was anonymous all year, and Fullerton never made it on the field. McVeigh, JBR and Chandler all have massive upsides, while that midfield still looks dangerous even without Oliver. Yeah, JBR was outscored by Paul Curtis, while that midfield lost Brayshaw and Petrarca to complete injury mismanagement, and Oliver basically regressed to pretty much average. This should be the year they shake their demons and at least win a final. Winning a final? They couldn't even beat Fremantle. Put a line through them. They're done. This isn't salvageable. Not anymore.
If they don't, I'll drink a bottle of pickle juice. Yum, 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 yum. That should help with the cramps, eh, Clayton?
And cut to me poisoning myself, thanks to Simon Goodwin. Alright, let's get it over and done with. Hello. Thank you, Simon Goodwin, first and foremost. I hate myself. I have nothing else poignant to say other than I hope I don't throw up. So, cheers. Oh, that does not smell good. Oh, mmm. That was a sip. Oh god. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I've just noticed there's extra strength on the bottle as well, so thanks. Thanks for that, Drakes. Oh god, a little bit more to go. There, it's empty. Oh. Would not recommend. Thanks, Melbourne. At least we're getting your balling out of this.
Your 2024 premieres, Brisbane.
Look, was I worried when Brisbane sat 13th halfway through the season? Yes, I was. But a million ACL injuries will do that to you, including 2 to poor Tom Doedee. Fagan kept a tight ship though, and Ashcroft proved pivotal in his return. Like I said, cuts to that comment.
Adding in Tom Doedee and Will Ashcroft in the back half of the season will give them a much-needed kick up the arse, with the only loss being a pass to Jack Gunston. That forward line is good enough without him, even if there is the eternal question mark over the actual quality and talent of Eric Hipwood
in their late premiership tilt. And if that forward line wasn't held by Stevie Wonder and a Thunderbirds puppet, they'd have finished so much higher. Hell, they might have won the grand final by 100 points. So here's where our rankings sit on pure ladder points before the bonuses. I've had an absolute mare, thanks Adelaide and Melbourne, with our money leader at the moment being Matthew Philpott 8377, who leads all comers, even the AFL journos, who are headed by Barrett, unfortunately. He's even done what no one else has in Matthew Philpott, not Barrett, in predicting 5 teams exactly right. North, which is a gimme, but a lot of people ended up missing it, but also Sydney, Geelong, Freo, and amazingly, considering their season, Essendon. Congratulations. He was the only one to pick the Cats, Dockers and Bombers correctly. This gives them a 12-point lead over Dan S4916, who got GWS and North right, and then it's 4 points back to third, last year's winner, El Violador. Shout out to Pemby09, who got the Dogs correct, of course, but also the Suns and the Roos. He's fourth alongside my predictions algorithm, GAZ-viz. On average, the AFL journos have a total of 73 places out of order, whereas our channel members have 77. It's close. Probably too close considering that they're getting paid for their opinions and we are not, but what are you going to do? But we still have the extra point categories to come. Surely here's where I come back.
I predict that Brisbane will defeat a spirited Sydney in the grand final to be premiers.
Holy shit, I got the granny exactly right, except for the spirited bit anyway. That gains me a lot of points compared to a lot of people who picked Collingwood to make it all the way. 7 people had them in the grand final. A few of you guys had Melbourne making it, and one poor bloke had Adelaide. I hope that wasn't me convincing you. If it is, I'm so sorry.
My rising star is, of course, Harley Reid. I'm not going to get imaginative this year because that ended up costing me the big money last year. Thank you, Darcy Wilmot.
From here, though, it's downhill for old Gaz. Reed's suspension turned the Rising Star picks into 3 points for anyone who risked picking McKercher or Wardlaw. I have fumbled that script line so badly 5 times, I'm going to keep that take.
As for the Coleman, I see Nick Larkey using his superior accuracy, opposition apathy in garbage time, and fall-offs from Curnow and Cameron to claim the Coleman medal in a bottom 2 team, which will be the first time that's happened since Tony Lockett.
Jesse Hogan's Coleman medal win was foreseen by exactly no one. My tip of Larkey proved poor, as North got nothing going up forward, with Jez Cameron the next best option that people picked, while the AFL journos gathered together to feed on Charlie Curnow's hot, bountiful spooge for 15-point hauls. Thank you again, Charlie, for ruining my life.
Anyway, I think that despite a worse showing from the Bulldogs, Libba will fall off just enough for Marcus Bontempelli to claim his first, but let's face it, it should be his third, Brownlow medal.
Then we get to the Brownlow. At this point, I'm out, mathematically, even if the Bont wasn't completely robbed of having the second best season by vault out of any player this year. Don't even get me started on that. Goulden scooped up a top 10, gaining 6 points for his followers. Dacos was the easy media pick, who rewarded his faithful with 18 points, which again really could have been 25 if the umps actually had eyes and gave votes properly. This gave Cal Toomey the overall win out of everyone. Barrett rode Warner's dick again, netting him just 1 point. But it was Tom Green, who didn't make the All-Australian team, but somehow came 5th in the Brownlow, who delivered 10 points to both Josh Gabalick and the winner of our GAZ-man channel entrance, Matthew Philpott, 8377. He takes the win over fellow Greenbacker and last year's predictions winner El Violador, whose faith in Tex cost him the ultimate prize. Again, as a Crows fan, I am so sorry. Congratulations, Matthew. Please get in touch with me with proof of ownership of your YouTube account and we'll sort out the prize. As for the other comps, let's start with the tipping. Incredibly, 28 of you joined up, which was amazing, way more than I thought there would be. Medium Sig Sig led almost all year due to the use of early jokers, with Damien B coming close but only getting 6 in each joker round to fall 1 short. But Callum, in round 24, pulled a 9 out of 9 in their final joker round and only missed 2 tips in the entire final series to come home to win by a staggering 10 points. Shout out to Leighton A for being a mad lad and tipping a 53-point Brisbane Grand Final win, which somehow nearly happened. Probably would have given money just for that result alone. I've already touched base with you, Callan, by the time this video comes out at the very least, so I'm hoping that we can get the prize sorted before this video goes live. As for the Supercoach comp, I kind of botched that, so my bad. I anticipated an 18-team league, which was a bit foolish really, and in changing to 10 I didn't update the league settings properly, so it ended halfway through the season with no finals. The ladder also glitched, so instead of showing head-to-head results, it showed leaders on an overall table instead of like the head-to-head results, which showed 2 different winners. So at the end of the head-to-head phase, Phillips East team led all comers after a dramatic round 8 game between the Spare Parts and Modra Stepladder teams, which saw Spare Parts fall to the top. However, after that, the league ladder disappears and is replaced with an overall points ladder, which Modra's Stepladder won. Both, in my mind, can claim to be legitimate winners, and since my mistake has caused it, I'm more than happy to award equal prize money equivalent to a full win for both players. So again, just like the predictions winner, contact me at the email address that's, I'm hoping, on this. I'll just put it in a couple of different places here just so you can see it, so I can frame it correctly, because I'm actually bending over to get within the frame window because just nothing's tall enough. This is such a terrible setup. Anyway, email me with proof of your ownership of these Supercoach accounts and teams, and I will sort out your prizes there as well. That took way too long. And so that's all she wrote for the predictions challenge. Thank you so much for watching and keeping up with the predictions throughout the year and letting me know how wrong or right I was. That is quite funny, and it's been fun. I love doing these challenges. I'm going to do it again next year. I will be doing another video which should come out next week, hopefully, which gives a more detailed analytical insight into how the teams actually went, instead of me just looking at my old footage of where I thought these teams would be and crying. So that will be coming out soon. I'm going to leave you all now because being in this sort of squatted position, here's me standing up, I don't fit in the frame. is actually hurting my legs. I've got a physio appointment. Oh God! Ah! We're good. See you next time.
Thanks for watching, and also thanks to all the patrons. The bump in support over the last month or so has been huge. Thank you so much for that. So shout out to Cody Bibby, Some Geek from Twitter, Temanuel Cant, Seamus O'Dowd Clancy, Renegar, Nathan Krauseratus, Brian Shadowbuck, Cyric, and our newest members Tim Wilcox and Phil Johnson. And also shout out to Waziam as well. And thanks to the free members as well for joining the community too. So we've got Gridio M, Jezza, Louis Contreras, Kyle Nicholas, and Kevin He. Thank you so much for helping support the channel going forward. Yeah, there's been a bit more exclusive content on the Patreon recently, so I hope you guys have enjoyed that. And yeah, see you very soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed.